Let's turn our attention, if we can, to Christmas. The build-up to Christmas, as we know, can be a very stressful time. But for some people, it's the bit afterwards that can be just as troubling. What if you've received a gift that just isn't for you? Or perhaps you've ordered something that still hasn't arrived. And as for the sales, how do you really know if you are getting a bargain? The man with the answers to this question is consumer expert Scott Dixon. Scott, a very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you too.
Right, first question.
Merry Christmas as well.
Oh, and a Merry Christmas. Na dole llawen. Now listen, what happens if you get... I loved all my presents. They were all great. Let me just say that at the outset. You get a present, it's not quite your thing. How can you take it back and either swap it for something or get your money back? What can we do?
Well, retailers are not obliged to give you a refund if goods are not faulty or you've simply changed your mind. And they may offer you an exchange or a credit note, although you are bound by your store's terms and conditions. And this should be clearly displayed on receipts and notices in store. And the returns time is usually 28 days, but many extended over Christmas. So if you have a gift receipt, you can return it and get a refund, replacement or credit note, but the retailer's terms and conditions apply. If you didn't get a receipt with your present, you're relying on the store's goodwill and store's policy. And if the price has dropped in the post-Christmas sale and you don't have a receipt, that is the amount that you will get if the store decides to give you a refund. That's happened to me before.
This is a nightmare. It isn't always easy to go to someone who's, they've put the effort in. They've bought you the present. It's really hard to say, I don't like it. How do you do that?
Well, the first thing I would do is look up the retailer's return policy online, because there's a lot of seasonal workers who may not be familiar with the store's policy. So forewarned is forearmed. And it's better to go in store rather than try online, as not only are you less likely to be fobbed off, but returns can often go missing in transit, particularly at this time of year. And sometimes for online orders, only the buyer can request a refund or exchange. But I would say, treat people with kindness and be polite, and being nice goes a long way.
Indeed.
Because you're more likely to elicit the outcome that you want. But what you could do is, maybe honesty is the best policy. Speak to the giver. I mean, obviously you don't want to hurt their feelings, but maybe thank them and say nicely that you appreciate the sentiment, but it's not quite right for you. And maybe they can give you the receipt so you can choose something you like instead, because the contract is with whoever's bought the goods and they have the receipt. But you could also sell it online or via an auction site, or even donate it to your favorite charity.
Now that would be a lovely thing. That would be a really good thing to do. If you don't like it, take it to your local, cat, dog, kid charity, whatever. Be a good person. When it comes to things that people have ordered, I'm seeing a lot at the moment of porch pirates, people stealing items from doorsteps, or people saying my item did not arrive from the online retailer I bought it from. Very briefly, how do you prove that you haven't received something? Because taking a picture of a doorstep with nothing on it isn't going to wash, is it?
No, but what you need to bear in mind is the retailer is responsible under the Consumer Rights Act 2015 to ensure the goods arrive safely without undue delay and within 30 days of placing the order. And Section 29 of the Consumer Rights Act 2015 states the goods remain at the trader's risk until they come into the physical possession of the consumer or a person identified by the consumer to take possession of the goods. And it's not up to you to find out where the item is and chase the courier. It's up to the retailer. So if something you have ordered has not arrived, you should contact the retailer in the first instance to find out where it is, because they engage the courier and you just make your problem theirs, because they engage the courier. That's their problem and contract to get the goods to you safely. So if orders have gone missing or they're stolen or they're damaged, you are entitled to a replacement or a refund. And if you hit an impasse in a stone wall with the retailer, you can raise a chargeback with your bank or credit card provider. And what that does is that reverses and disputes the transaction. You've got up to 120 days to do that. And chargebacks are problematic for retailers to deal with. So it's a good weapon to use if all else fails.
That is interesting. I didn't know that. So there is a really good argument for, if you have a credit card, using that to pay for your goods. Scott, it has been great to speak to you. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, and thank you for your expertise. That was the consumer expert Scott Dixon there, with some good advice about what to do with a present if it's not quite your thing.